Welcome back to another episode of Global Card Collectors. Today we have a return guest. This is his third appearance on the show. John at Eurofractor. How are you, man?
Hi, John. Thanks for welcoming here. Um, happy, happy to be here, third time, as you said, and happy to be a friend of the channel and to have fun another day, another morning with you. So let's kick it off.
Awesome. Yeah, always happy to have you on. And today we're going to talk about um, basically, I came across an article that listed the 40 greatest European players ever. It's on Hoops Hype. It was on September 15th, 2024, so it's relatively current. And I just sent this to John and was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And then we're just like, "Yeah, let's talk about this list and see what say what's wrong with it."
Sure.
And we'll go through and kind of do a little bit of some rankings. We have our
Mhm.
all European all time teams staked out. So looking forward to those disagreements, and then we're gonna dive into kind of collecting European players. So this is not
Mhm.
international. This is only the continent tonight today, but that's where we're focused. But first of all, it's been a few months. Just any updates on you in the hobby? What you've been up to, like generally, or any big pickups, something like that?
Well, there are always pickups. I mean, pickups are, if you're active in the hobby, I mean, you are probably taking one or two cards a month, probably, but or maybe you are into them, but not able to win the auction or not ending the trade with the other one, with the other person. But yeah, a couple of trades and a couple of pickups were in this last 3 months, so very happy. And not, I don't have them in hand because, here in Spain, we have to make the trades and send through our mailboxes in every part of the world, and then and then order the cars to come to Spain here, to come to Europe. So wishing to have them in hand and enjoy my new cards, some exquisite, some refractors, a short list of pickups, but very enjoyable. With my friend Pablo, always working in our trades and in our pickups, and picking up something for him, and him picking up something for me. So hoping also to that meeting here in Bilbao with some beer, exchanging cards. So cool. Hobby is always good, and it's a good thing, and it would great to enjoy our free time. It still is going to be, I mean, it's going to be like that this year, and we hope for a big year of collecting. So pretty cool. And you, what about you? Any
Well,
new pickups or?
yeah, I mean, always still hunting those. I mean, I'm always hunting the International Treasures set,
Yeah.
subset. There's one a Hakeem I'm looking at on
Mm-hmm.
auction, so we'll see how that goes.
Uh-huh.
But taking my time, I've lost a lot of
Yeah.
auctions and that kind of
That's
thing.
good. I
Good
mean, no
patience.
rushing, no
Yeah.
rushing with auction, not worrying. I mean, as we talked about some episodes before, the cars come back. I mean, they do come back. So
Yeah.
no rushing and just enjoying, and everything will come, will provide. Yeah, hobby provides, they say. So
The hobby giveth. I like that. Yeah. They can't take away as well.
yeah, for sure.
And I think you also had a championship in Bilbao, right?
Yes,
How was that?
yes, very fun. I mean, we expected to we really expected to win. I mean, it's a European tournament that is not a high level of tournament. So, it's the second division or second competition of the FIBA statement. So, not very big teams playing in that tournament. So they are classic teams. I mean, you can find, for example, Bilbao played the finals against PAOK Salonika, you know, a, a classic team. of
Hmm.
Greece,
Yeah.
and one of the craziest atmospheres in, in Europe, in the arena, and it's famous for that. And also our man Peja Stojakovic played in Salonika before going to the NBA. So, you know, big names played in Salonika and was a big team, Fasulas, Dalis, many people. Okay. So, but today is just another team. So Bilbao played good. I mean, they demonstrate that they know how to suffer in a game, because it's a final game, but it was a final game, not one game. I mean, it was home and away.
Huh.
So two games. And you have to make a total result of the two games, and the team that gets most points is winning the championship. And they do like this because if you set uh, like a neutral venue for the final game, it's the tournament hasn't got the level to make a big final game. So it's better to go home, and every fan of the team goes to the arena. The arena is full. There's a game, and then in the other team's house. So it's like two game final. It's not so rare to see in Europe, and even before the EuroLeague was like that. Okay, before the EuroLeague, before being the EuroLeague that we know today. So excited. His first basketball team. I mean, in Bilbao, because in Bilbao there have been a lot of different basketball teams. So this is the first Bilbao basketball team winning a title. It's the first title, and it's a European title, international title. So you know, we know that it's not so big tournament, but it's always it's something to be proud about. So very cool. I'm kind of a party here in Bilbao because of the championship. So very cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about, right?
Yes,
Uh
absolutely.
yeah, Besiktas had a good season, the club I support here, and they
Hmm.
were in that tournament but got knocked out, I think in the quarters or
Uh-huh.
earlier, I think even round of 16 or
Earlier.
something like that.
Hmm.
So you know, I was pulling for him like so it's a good title, man. I mean, you should be
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And of course, next year, after winning this second division of the FIBA tournament, we have the rights to play in the first division of that European tournament. So it's the Basketball Champions League is called that first division of the FIBA Club Championship. And then in that tournament there are teams with big money, and good teams, international team, even Spanish teams that are today maybe in the three or four first places in the domestic league. Good German teams, good French teams, Italian. So next year is going to be harder, of course, and we will be far from even competing in that. But it's always exciting to go to the venue here in Bilbao and see good teams coming to your town to play in the tournament. So you're, of course, you want your team winning every game, but you have to also recognize the game of the other ones. So watching here in Bilbao good teams is a privilege, because Bilbao is, the basketball team in Bilbao is not so big, and it's not a big money team today. I mean, years before it was, but now it's not like that anymore. So even when some good team is coming to your arena to play, and it's even international team, it's a party, and it's and people recognize the game in the other. So it's going to be exciting season next one in that tournament for Bilbao. Mhm.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
I was watching the Fenerbahce's, in the now in the
The
semifinals
EuroLeague.
of
Yeah.
EuroLeague, and
What a team, man. Fenerbahce.
I was reminded, I saw some guy, the ball hit the rim and then he just swiped it off, right?
Mhm.
NBA, that's unallowed. And I
Mhm.
was like, this could solve the three-point epidemic in the NBA. I mean, like Kawhi's shot, against the Sixers,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, like, I mean, things
Yeah.
like bouncing. I mean, it keeps the
Mhm.
game moving. Get it out of here. I like
Yeah.
that rule. I'm a fan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, all right, so this list, again, Hoops Hype, 40 greatest European players ever, September
Mhm.
15, 2024. Uh, maybe how we'll do it, I'm not going to read the whole list,
Mhm.
but, uh, you know, maybe we'll take it from in tiers, from like 40 to 30. Anyone in there that you
Mhm.
want to talk about that you think maybe should be higher or
Mhm.
lower, anything like that? Any,
From
any
40
notes
to
there?
30, I mean, I have to say first that the list at some point is accurate. I
Yeah.
mean, as you told, as you were saying, you are not going to dive in each and every number of the list and each and every player because, you know, doesn't make sense. But, the names of the list more or less deserves. I mean, it's an accurate list. But there's a thing here on every list that can be found on the internet about European players and so on. When you extend the list to 40 players, like in this one, there's something that I don't agree, in general terms with the list that are players that or I have the sensation, I have the vibe that only for making the NBA are in this top 40. And what about the players that didn't make the NBA for whatever the reason and stayed their whole career in Europe are not in the list, for example, no? So in this 40 to 30, I mean, in this in this piece of the list, in this part of the list, there's a name, number 31 in this case, Dejan Bodiroga. And it's and I'm super happy to find Dejan Bodiroga on the list because I truly think is the best player, the best European player that never played the game in the NBA. He won it everything in basketball except of obviously the NBA, but he's a world champion. He is a EuroLeague champion, multi champion in every domestic league he played. So and he's iconic player. So it's rare to see a player like Bodiroga, who never played in the NBA, making a list. And
Although
from
he
40 to
he
yeah,
was drafted by
by
Sacramento
your
Kings.
Kings,
Yeah.
yeah, by your Kings. And so from 40 to 30, I will remove many of the players on the list, and will include another ones that never made the NBA or made the NBA but didn't have a long career in the NBA. No? So, for example, I don't think Evan Fournier deserves to be on the list. I think even Jose Calderon, Spanish player, and had a long career and international and NBA career, but for me, it's not top 40 player, a top 40 player in European player. And maybe some names like, for example, Jasikevicius should be on the list. He made the NBA, but Jasikevicius was a great champion. So, for example, Diamantidis, Vasilis Spanoulis, so even Juan Carlos Navarro, those players deserve a place on the list. I mean, and should be in this part of the list. So from 40 to 25 or something like that. I mean,
Jasikevicius is Lithuanian. I'm
yeah, Lithuanian is the
okay.
Fenerbahce's head coach
Okay.
today. A coach of the year, by the way, in the EuroLeague this season. So
Good
even
knowledge.
Wembanyama, Victor Wembanyama should be on the list, but that's another debate because I mean he's too young, but he's already top 40, maybe. Why
Maybe,
not?
maybe, maybe.
So it's a stand list, but in this little part of the list, I go with the success of putting here Bodiroga and that topic in general terms that some players shouldn't make the list just because making the NBA.
I like that. I mean, I have a buddy here who like insisted that I watch Bodiroga highlights,
Hmm.
and I had never heard of
Uh-huh.
him. And it's
Hmm.
he is beautiful. I mean, I really
Yeah,
if you look this guy up, Dejan Bodiroga, like it's magic.
he's one of a kind
Yeah.
player.
Um, and yeah, I like Lauri Markkanen. I think he's had one good season in the NBA. I don't think
Nothing
he should
more.
be on the list. He's at 39. Okay, in the interest of time, let's keep it moving.
Yeah,
Um, I guess now we're going, 30 to 20. Anything you want to mention among those names?
of course. Um, there are a couple of players that, in my opinion, there's another topic should be higher on the list, in my opinion. And those players are Dino Ratia, is number 23 on the list. I truly think it should be higher. And 26, Marciulonis, Sarunas Marciulonis, I think it should be higher. I mean, I'm saying those players, these two, should be higher because I'm seeing the list and I see that, for example, Goran Dragic is over Sarunas Marciulonis, blows my mind, for example. Or just another example, Nikola Vucevic is over Dino Ratia, and I cannot understand that. So that's the reason that I can say these two players should be higher. And not only for as players, I mean, as their skills on the basketball court, but also in importance. I mean, Dino Radia and Sarunas Marciulonis. Come on. So they are trailblazers at their time. So and good players in with their national team and also in the NBA. Dino Radia was a 2010 guy in the 90s against Shaq and so on. And I mean, Dino Radia doesn't get his credit. He is a Hall of Famer. So and Sarunas Marciulonis is also a Hall of Famer. And but the importance of they playing at that time and playing with the stars of the league, and even Shaq. I think this is curious. Even Shaq said that Dino Radia was the best white guy that faced ever
Really?
in his career. Yeah, yeah. I mean, because Dino Radia was tough, and Dino Radia was big, was quick, he had range, he was strong, but he played in the worst Boston Celtics of all time. And those mid 90s Celtics that was nothing in there. And it was Radja and I think it D Brown and or
Yep.
good player, but I mean not superstar. So was in the darkest hour of the Celtics. So and Sarunas played in the Warriors and with Mullen, Hardaway, Richmond. So Sarunas was the fourth or the fifth player. So probably another team will be better, but those two players should be higher for me.
I like that. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I kind of, you know, Hedo Turkoglu was kind of impressive, but he's probably about right at 27. Marcelonis
Mhm.
is at 26. Raja is at 23. Um, the one that 24 Gallinari, I I
No,
didn't think he should be up that high. I would definitely drop him
he
down.
was hyped. I remember
Yeah,
when he was drafted by the Knicks, late 2000s, and he was hyped, really, really hyped. I mean, it was maybe the first European player to get, a really dose of hype as a rookie. Because later, I mean, with Ricky Rubio a year later, it's like the boom, like in terms of hype. But I don't even Gasol. It was another time, of course. I mean, Gasol didn't get the hype of Gallinari. Gallinari was hype, and it was New York, big market.
100%.
But
Yeah,
but
I was living in New York then. And
Mhm.
that like 2010 was the decision. And I remember, so I was
Mhm.
kind of following Knicks and yeah, I mean he was, and there's so many Italians in New York and it's just like,
Yeah. Mhm.
they were
He
going
was
crazy.
good player, but
Yeah,
not maybe the superstar that the Knicks wanted to be.
100%.
Mhm.
And the legacy I don't think matches a lot of those
No,
guys
no.
around him or below him.
Mhm.
Um, why don't we just 20 on up because we're going to do our teams. Anyone you want to talk about kind of that should be higher that pops out to you? I guess
Mm,
Vucevic is
mhm.
15, for instance. I think that also is absurd.
Yes,
Um,
that's
Rudy,
absurd. I'm watching
for me, Rudy Gobert at 8 is very, very strong. Like that's I
super high on the list.
very high. Um, but yeah, anything you want to add before we jump into our teams because obviously they'll be populated from the top.
Yeah, I truly think from 20 to 1, there are a couple of names that I want to highlight. Um, about one I want to talk about because it's number 14, Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc should be higher for me. Uh, way higher, let's say, and because we are talking about our teams later on, so way
Sure.
higher. And between the first three of the list, we are not going to say names of the list, but there's one that I truly think it should be high, and it will stop in
We'll
there.
get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I agree, unquestionably. And I think Drazen, Petrovic at 9, Sabonis, Arvydas at 11. They're just kind of what if. I mean, they're the ultimate
Yeah.
what ifs, both of them for different
Mhm.
reasons. And who else did I want to? I mean, Domantas Sabonis being on here at 18 is also absurd. I mean, he's basically an American. I mean, I know he has a
Yeah.
citizenship, but there were a couple
Mhm.
guys like there were another couple guys like that. Like Kiki Vandeweghe could have been on this list, but he's also basically an American. He grew up in the States. So
Mhm.
anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Joakim Noah at 16. That's strong. I like the player, but
He
interesting.
was also as Gallinari. I mean, it's a year before. I mean, I truly think Joakim Noah is 2007 draft. I mean, because I remember that the Gators team, the Florida Gators,
Yep.
Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer, Al Horford,
Yep.
national champions. So Joakim Noah was, I mean, French guy. Maybe that year before Gallinari, maybe Joakim Noah is also high because he was on that team and he was important on that team in that Gators team that won the NCAA championship. I mean, I don't remember if it was one or maybe back-to-back champions. I don't remember.
Either.
I don't really remember that. But Joakim Noah in the Bulls, I mean, and the Bulls had a great team
Yep.
years later, and they lost a great opportunity with already with Rose, with Derrick Rose. Uh, there was a year that was Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler, Pau Gasol, and it was a team for the championship. But they, Derrick Rose and his knees and his problems with the injuries started, and the Bulls. But Joakim Noah was in there and was a great player. So I mean, it's probably could be high because, as you say, it's the number was
16.
16 on the list. Maybe it's high, maybe, and maybe probably Rick Smiths
Yeah.
should be higher on the list
Yep.
over Joakim Noah, for example, both centers. But Joakim Noah is another generation, and he displayed good level. He's a champion, college champion, but he was tough and he was a good guy for the NBA. So and for the French viewers, I mean, France is a very big country in Europe with long tradition in basketball, so that also helps to be on this list.
Americans enjoyed him too. I know.
Yeah. Hmm.
I liked him as a player.
Hmm.
All right, let's get into it. So, your I all-time starting five.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do
Oh.
two teams, and I'll just say I will be shocked if we don't have at least four of the same. Um, but
Hmm.
it's possible. I'm just really
Everything
curious.
is possible, but I
Yeah,
guess we are going to match many of them,
yeah,
I guess. So, should I go first?
yeah, yeah. You're
Sure.
you're the
Okay.
lead here.
So my starting five, I have my paper here, so it's done. I'm not going to change. At point guard, I go with Tony Parker. I
I,
mean,
I
I have.
also yeah. But
Mm,
maybe you play it all out. Talk through your team,
okay,
and then I'll.
okay. So at point guard, as I said, Tony Parker is my guy at the point. Added to Drazen Petrovic, no question for me here. Number three, and this is the only one that I truly think it shouldn't be on my starting five, but I need some defense because I'm, making my team with a playing purpose. So not only the five, which I consider, I mean, the five best players. No. So at number three, I have to go with Giannis, but I don't want to put him, you know, but I need him. I need him on my starting five. At power forward, no question here. Dirk Nowitzki. Center, Nikola Jokic.
Beautiful. As I predicted,
Mhm.
we did have the four of them.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Same. I also, I mean, I put Giannis at power forward and Dirk at small forward, but who cares really? I mean,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah,
Jokic.
probably the best Giannis is power forward version. I mean, championship Giannis. I don't know if it was a forward or power forward version of Giannis. I think it probably would be more power forward than forward. Mhm.
And then, with those three guys, I mean, those three guys are to me the clear top three European players of all time.
Mhm.
Jokic, Giannis, and Dirk.
Mhm.
Just career, all that. And then you need a point guard. So Tony's just the obvious
Yes.
best
Mhm.
point guard of all time from Europe.
Mhm.
Um, and then, I just felt like we needed shooting. And you're gonna
Mhm.
like this. And so I went with my boy Peja
Oh, at the two?
at the two. Yeah, we're
Okay.
huge, but yeah.
Could be.
I debated Luca briefly Drazen. It just the Drazen is the what if scenario. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I
I
mean,
like Stojakovic. Huh? I like your decision, but for me, Petrovic is incredible thing, and of course, it's a what if, probably the
yeah.
biggest what if ever in basketball. But it's Drazen is and it's competitor. I mean, it's like a win, 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 and mentality. That aggressive mentality. We're talking about Mamba mentality and all those things, but Drazen mentality is better than Mamba mentality, 100%.
I like it.
So,
Here he is.
so
Here he is, just for
yeah,
the
the
viewers.
man. Hmm.
We got the Yugoslavian flag here, and then we got Croatian
Yeah,
flag.
I love them
Um,
version, vintage and modern.
Vintage and modern, exactly.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, and I think, Luca could be considered too. But
Hmm.
I didn't go there.
Hmm. Okay.
Kind of let a little more to prove, I think, and
Mhm.
just I didn't like the
So
fit as much.
4 matches in our starting five, as
Yeah,
I see, four
yeah,
matches.
yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, so second team then.
Second team. Uh, my second team. I
Yeah.
think that we are not matching that much here.
Uh,
Okay. I
yeah.
don't know. but let's
Yeah, we'll
see.
see.
Okay. So my second five at point guard, Doncic, Luka Doncic,
Okay.
point guard. I truly think best version of Doncic is a point guard. Okay, and I think he's a true point guard. Shooting guard at two, Vasilis Spanoulis. For me, is the one of the best two guards ever in Europe. He made his trial in the NBA, but didn't. I mean, he wasn't lucky at that time. He played for the Rockets and San Antonio, I guess, some matches, but he went back to Olympiacos at that time. Vasilis Spanoulis is my shooting guard, forward, and this I truly think this is the guy for me that deserves to be on the first team, but they had to put Giannis because of defense and all these things. But forward, Tony Kukoc. Power forward, Pau Gasol, and center, Sabonis, the dad, Arvidas Sabonis, my center.
Well, we have four in common as well here.
Or also four in
Yeah.
common.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
mean, Drazen got pushed to second team, so
Uh-huh.
he's my shooting guard there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I also had Doncic at the point,
Uh-huh.
Drazen at shooting guard, Kukoc at small forward,
Mm-hmm.
Pau at power forward, and Sabonis at center.
And
So
Sabonis.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we just kind of it's the shooting guard position that kind of
Yeah.
slid around basically on both teams, and Peja didn't
Mm-hmm.
even make your second
Mm-hmm.
team. Um, but generally Europeans. I mean, you have no problems filling the big positions here. I mean,
No problems.
yeah,
Yeah.
just yeah.
No
I mean,
problems. Yeah,
uh,
the shooting guard is different thing because we are talking about a position, probably the best basketball players or the most hyped basketball players probably from mid 80s until today. The Americans are the best. I mean, we go Michael, we go Kobe, T-Mac,
Penny,
best
yeah,
Penny Hardaway. So, and even today, so it's very difficult for a shooting guard, a European shooting guard, to make the NBA. And if you go to the list, to that accurate at some point list of 40 players that we discussed before, there are very few true shooting guards. Maybe you can find there Predrag Danilovic, or because he was a true shooting guard, and Drazen Petrovic, but it's like Petrovic could play the two on the point guard also, so it's kind of a mix. Probably in Europe it's a point guard, but in America should be a shooting guard. So very difficult position for an European player. So that's why I truly think the best shooting guards, the best European shooting guards, sorry, did not play in the NBA as much or had a career. Spanoulis, Navarro, and so on.
what
So
what teams did Spanoulis play for in Europe?
in Europe, Spanoulis played for, I think it was Marousi, but he was his first team, like starting,
Yeah.
and then Panathinaikos, Olympiacos.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and those are the 1 and 3 seeds in the EuroLeague.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Mhm.
Amazing clubs.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah. And if I had to throw two guys on my bench, I just threw Kirilenko and Detlef on there. It's just kind of
Yeah,
you need some dirty work, you need some defense, obviously with Kirilenko.
yeah. Kirilenko is underrated, and I truly think Kirilenko deserves to be a Hall of Famer. Maybe that's a kind of a fan
Sure.
mentality, but maybe it's not that much. But for me, yes, it's like that. And he is one of a kind, definitely at his time. Now you can find players like him
Yeah.
or similar, no? But at that time it was incredible. And I don't have those extra two to fill the team, but definitely Kirilenko could be on the list on my 11th guy, and the 12th is maybe I would go with another big, and bigs are necessary to win games, and still think like that. Maybe the NBA is not like that, it's not thinking like that anymore. But for me, the number 12 could be Mark Gasol, the brother. You know,
Yeah.
we always say the brother, but Marc Gasol is already a name. I mean, he is great. His greatness is one of the best centers, one of the best European centers, that's for sure. And maybe for 2 or 3 years, he was the best center in the world. So defensive player of the year, champion, blah, blah, world champion with Spain, and incredible display of basketball IQ, grit and grind, Memphis, blah. So this kind of thing. He was a guy. He was a very important basketball player, worldwide. So probably Marc Gasol could be my 12.
I can't argue with that. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I think I'm convinced too to drop Detlef, but that was just kind of a fun
Well,
throw in that I did not prepare you for. So
Detlef is something special. Detlef, but it's maybe before my knowledge. I mean, I didn't see almost anything about Detlef. Maybe his latest years, but he was too veteran. Uh, but Detlef is Dirk before Dirk, or something like that. No, but
it's right. It's
he
true.
was
Yeah.
a threat.
So Marc Gasol was 7 on this list. Doncic was 6. Tony Parker 5. Pau Gasol 4. Jokic 3. Giannis 2. Dirk 1.
Mhm.
And we both agree Jokic should be higher. To circle
Yeah.
back to an earlier point,
Mhm.
where would you put him then?
Uh, for me, it's time to talk about Nikola Jokic as the best,
Same.
number one.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, Jokic and Giannis are very similar. I mean, and let me explain, because um, in the NBA, I mean, there were both of them drafted by a small market franchise, I mean, Milwaukee and Denver. They were not high selections, even Jokic's second round, and Giannis's first round, but it's 15 or something like that, 15, 16. So it's not a super
15.
prospect.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a lottery pick, or I don't know if it's if that term lottery pick is used today, but similar thing. Their entrance in the NBA is similar, and both ended winning the championship as the franchise player of those small market franchises, Milwaukee and Denver. And with similar teams, I mean, Jokic had Jamal Murray, and Giannis had Middleton. So it's like 1 and 2. And then, other big players, good players, role players, workers around to win a championship. So 1 and 2, and the rest to win a championship. And I think Jokic and Giannis are same at that point. But Jokic is different. I mean, it's the it's special. I mean, of course, Giannis is a great player, and he also he was criticized because of he didn't have range, he couldn't shoot from long distance or threes. His free throw shooting wasn't so consistent, but he was so powerful player. I mean, he's a force, and he won, and he won the championship. Let's see if Luka can do what Giannis did or what Jokic did, because Luka, 7 years in the league, I mean, it's not that much. But with 7 years in the league, I mean, Giannis was already there, and MVP and blah blah, and Jokic too. Let's see if Luka can be on that conversation. Of course, different times, different type of players, but different markets too. I mean, Luka now is in the Lakers. It's not, and Los Angeles is not Milwaukee. I mean, we all agree in this
Yeah, absolutely.
as as a market. I
Yeah,
mean, and even Dallas is not Milwaukee. So let's see. But for me, Jokic, we should start talking about Jokic being the best. Um, and Dirk, maybe for me, in my opinion, I mean, it's a bit of nostalgia, but Dirk for me is the number two. And I can agree with Giannis the third. Yeah, I I would buy that. I would buy that statement. I mean, Giannis is number three, okay, but Dirk for me is number two. I mean, Dirk. I truly think Dirk has the best ring in the recent NBA history.
agree.
I mean, the most important playoff run of the last 20 years, maybe, is 2011 Dallas with Dirk and with all the veterans, Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, Peja Stojakovic, of course.
Hmm.
And I truly think that ring is super valuable and maybe the highest one of the last 15, 20 years. And Dirk is, many records and a real trailblazer also, So first European superstar. That's
Yeah,
it.
I agree. I don't have, I pretty much agree with you. I think
Mm.
Jokic has to be the best at this point. And it's,
Yeah.
he's the youngest of those three that we're talking about here.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
he obviously has the most MVPs. I mean, if he were to win this year, I mean, then he could like start becoming like maybe top five all time,
All time.
in the
Yeah.
world, you know? And if he were to win like two more or three more, then it's like, okay. I
Crazy
mean,
thing. I
LeBron,
truly
like,
think
you
I
know,
truly think that the Joel Embiid's MVP is, I mean, a bit forced
oh,
to Joel.
100%. Yeah.
So, I mean, with that MVP, if that, if we go back in time and make that happen, I mean, put that MVP in the hands of Jokic. We were talking about three consecutive. I mean, it's Larry Bird level.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and they're gonna rob him this year. I mean, Shea's gonna probably win it.
yeah.
Gilgeous-Alexander.
Do you
Uh,
think so? Do you really think that Shea is getting the MVP?
I could be. I don't. But that's just what it seems like the narrative is.
Hmm.
And from
But
the
I could agree with that also. I mean, Shea, I didn't follow. I mean, the NBA this year. I mean, another
yeah
year without NBA for me, like it's not matter, doesn't matter. But I mean, Shea is Shea. He's a great player, and yeah, and I agree with you. I do agree with the narrative thing, and the playing in the Thunder. I mean, of course, we are talking about this again. I mean, Oklahoma is not a big market. I mean, they had, they were lucky back in the days with Harden, Kevin Durant, and making the NBA finals. But it's not a big market as a city or as a state itself. Um, so, putting the name of Oklahoma, and Shea being the leader, and is so, I mean, it's a good face. It's the star player you want to have. I mean, not like so, disrespectful or this kind of. It's not Anthony Edwards, for example. I'm not beefing Anthony Edwards, but Anthony Edwards is more like, wow, everything is he's able to do that because he's great. But Shea probably is even better than him, and it's more like
100%.
so. I prefer that, and of course I would be happy with Shea, but I would be happier with Jokic fourth MVP. But let's see what's happening with this.
I'm with you, man. All right, so let's turn it to cards a bit. It's a bit overwhelming to talk about everything with
Mhm.
cards and in this
Yeah.
topic.
Mhm.
Where do you want to go? You want to talk about Dirk maybe as an interesting kind of test
Yeah.
case?
I think it's the I mean Dirk. We talk about Dirk as a basketball player, the first European superstar,
Yeah.
and I think I mean, that's 100% real. I mean, before Dirk, there's no Europe. There were very good European players, Drassen, Divac, and so on, but they weren't superstars as Dirk. And talking about cards, it's important because I truly think Dirk is the first European player to be super collected worldwide. So, chasing Dirk Nowitzki in America, in Europe, in everywhere, because was Dirk. Of course, Germany is, you collect, we can talk about this later on, but, you collect your country hero, you collect German players, but, imagine that you are collecting German players and you are picking Detlef Schrempf cards or this kind of, domestic league trading cards or whatever in Germany. And suddenly, Dirk, 1998, 9, Dirk appears. Imagine for a German, German fan or German basketball fan or German collector appearing Dirk at that time. And even in Dallas, being the franchise player, Dirk, I mean, and was one of the best tandems or underrated tandems, Dirk and Steve Nash, international tandem. Steve Nash is from Canada. Uh, Dirk, German, in Dallas, eccentric billionaire owner Mark
Yeah.
Cuban,
Yeah.
crazy thing in Dallas, and you know Dirk is like that in cars, and he covers the best of the last eras of trading cards. I mean, late 90s with his biggest grails, his biggest rookie cards, his in Star Ruby's rookie card, Essential Credentials rookie card, uh, these kind of things, 90s grails. And then he moves to 2000s, the biggest refractors. Nowitzki is the star of the league. He's in every checklist. The only thing that is blank on Dirk Nowitzki is he didn't sign any exquisite. This is important, you know,
Mhm.
uh, contract thing with Upper Deck or rights or whatever, but he didn't sign in the exquisite time from 2003 to from 2009. You cannot find any autograph of Dirk Nowitzki on exquisite collection. But then Dirk Dirk's career has been long enough to stay over the time and jump to the Panini era and all the gold prisms, flawless, started singing again. You have the flawless auto patches. So Dirk, you have 25 years of Dirks in every high-end checklist. So it's,
Go
in my
wild.
opinion,
Yeah.
is wild. I mean, and
Yeah.
collecting Dirk has been pricey. I mean, always has been pricey in terms of, in auctions, in trading value, and Dirk has been always chased and has always been maybe the most expensive in terms of value and efforts, of course, the most expensive player, European player, sorry. Dirk is the best or the first, not the best today because today is another thing, but the first European player to be highly collected and highly chased.
Yeah, I like how you lay that out, that he just spans all these eras. I mean, so take your
Oh,
pick, whatever kind of cards you like,
yeah.
you'll be able to find it
Mhm,
with him.
mhm.
And yeah, I mean, in Europe, I mean, do you find that I mean, I know you have an eclectic for players, but of course Pablo does, POW. He really focuses on
How?
POW. I
Mhm.
mean, do you find that, I mean, you know, space. Spanish people collect Spanish players more? And is that because you go
Yes.
to shows and stuff around the continent? Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's a typical thing in Europe, I guess. Collecting your country heroes or your favorite player from your country is common to see Pau Gasol collectors in Spain. Not, I mean, but not having the, the collection that my friend Pablo has, of course.
right.
But not all the same. But you know, his collection is crazy thing. You know, his Pau Gasol collection. But it's common to see Spanish people collecting Spanish players. Also, soccer. I mean, it's not a matter of basketball only. No, basketball, soccer, whatever. Uh, German German Germans collecting, sorry, German players, French people collecting French players. I mean, it's typical. I mean, it's normal thing. It's nothing bad. I mean, and it's good. I mean, you know, for those people getting that place in collecting, is great. I mean, it's one of the very best things that this hobby can give. I truly think that. So, collecting your country heroes, also raise the is that the thing that is marking the value of those players mainly. Of course, we are talking about players that are superstar, but not are the Kobe Bryant or or Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that range and about that type of player. But there, Tony Parker, Pau Gasol, for example, or even Tony Kukoc or whatever. There are players that collected, they are collected, and the value of those, most of, for example, 70 or 80% of the value of that card is set by these collectors. So, you know, it's interesting how the market is evolving and is still evolving after that time and after a long time, because there are plenty of people chasing Pau still today. And there are tons of people chasing Marc Gasol or chasing Tony Parker or chasing Stojakovic, like me, for example. We are chasing his cards until today. So it's interesting. And then from here, we can jump to this kind of topic, new topic, that, you know, retired players are still appearing in cardboard
Yeah.
and so on. So that's a long discussion. But, you know, that allows to people, you know, not stopping his chase. I mean, you can year by year you can extend your checklist, your personal checklist or your personal collection, your chase, or because more Stojakovic, more Pau Gasol, more Tony Parker, more almost every player. So that's important also.
Yeah, and I just kind of was thinking while you were talking, it prompted this thought. I mean, I think Panini did a really good job of kind of incorporating the international element into the cards.
Mhm,
I mean, obviously, I collect these international treasures sets.
mhm.
You know, there aren't that many though. I mean, 1993, there's this Fleer International set. I mean, very
Yeah.
cheap cards you can get. They're kind
Mhm.
of cool, like the players, you know, on top of the map of the
Yeah,
country.
I remember.
Um,
Mhm.
you know, you can get those. Those are plentiful. But you know, I just wonder how Topps will kind of embrace this because I think Panini did a really good job.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's an Italian company,
Mhm.
but they seem to understand, you know, even the
Mhm.
checklist for these guys is pretty good. I mean, they usually have, you know, Giannis, you know, they had Giannis when he's coming in. I mean, I know that's kind of an easy one, but even like Jokic, we kind of complained because there weren't as many Jokic, but he was a second rounder, but still he's in a lot of sets.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see how this keeps going, I guess, when you say we can continue to collect. I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of confidence in
Yeah.
Fanatics this way.
It's I think it's early to to make our mind into some, you know, fixed point about this, because
Yeah.
we don't know what they are going to do with because of course collections will not be the same. I mean, you can, you know, you can think about the next or the top scrum being the prism or the
Yep.
finest being the select, or you can match something. But let's see how you match those signature sets with, I mean, with you need a product to cover that. And probably today there's some this kind of baseball thing, the Dynasty, the different brands
Yep.
inside Tops. But let's see how you can stand that to the basketball thing and cover those necessities, because collectors want to keep on moving. I mean, and you want also the collectors with you and not with the competence. So let's see how Tops abroad that. But you know, international treasures is a statement. And a long, you know, long tradition product in Panini. I mean, maybe different variations with the flag bigger or smaller or whatever, but you know, international treasures is a taste set. And you know, and I remember you talking with you these past months about some Tony Parker international treasures, and went even higher than an exquisite, for example, because people want to go for the set.
Yeah, that
And
was a that blew me away. I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah,
mhm.
that
So it's like you know, impressive thing, no? Like people really want this card because they are building a set, because and a set of international treasures with on-card autographs and these superstar names and so on. It's a good set. It's a really important set in today's hobby.
yeah,
So because it's hard to identify, because we talked about in previous episodes, it's hard to identify which are the most important cards, because we all know that the gold prism, but then you know you don't have to go to university to understand that the gold prism is important.
exactly.
But I mean, it's like that. I think it's that's, I mean, that's clear. But international treasure is a good example. No, of course you have to like that, you know, that flag them and so on.
Yeah.
But it's a good set. It's well thought. I mean, it's well executed and good players, and it's what that's what it's all about. And you know, international treasures. Let's see, for example, that's a great example to help Tops abroad that in the future.
Yeah, I agree. I mean that Parker was 2013. So it was still playing days actually.
Hmm.
Obviously the tail end,
Yeah.
but um
Hmm.
it, you know, it was out of 25, I believe.
Hmm.
And it went for almost $400. You know, that's if you're a Tony Parker collector, that's an
Yeah.
amazing card to get. I mean, if and
Hmm.
you're a French, French Tony
Of
Parker collector,
course. Hmm.
amazing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I found that sale
Hmm.
quite interesting. What else? Let's see. I mean, yeah, maybe we'll kind of end with, kind of who do you think are the most collectible European players? Maybe the kind of top five if you could rank.
I mean, actual from today
Yeah, let's
or
just say right now.
right now.
Yeah,
Mm, I
May
am
25.
right now. I truly think Luca, I would say, is the most collected.
Okay.
And even now with the trade going to the Lakers, is going to recover the field that maybe he lost against Wembanyama, which is my number two,
Mm-hmm.
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, mm, I truly think Luca is the, you know, we talked before about Dirk, first European superstar to be collected, but Luca is first European superstar to be the most, I mean, the top of the heap. Because Dirk is the first European to be super collected, but he never was the first, you know, the most chased.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But Luca is the first European to be the chase number one, and is the face of the hype in collecting. Is Luca, and the face of the boom and the pandemic and these kind of
Exactly.
things.
I agree.
That's Luca. I mean, and only for that, I mean, Luca is should be my first, and I think it still is super collected
Yep.
and chase it. And let's see this new big super cards to be printed. I mean, the next, because I don't know if we have another year of license in Panini. I don't know. But I don't know if this 2024 Prism, I don't know if it's the last one. I really don't know that.
I think it is, but yeah, I don't know either.
Uh,
Uh, yeah.
but for example, first, imagine that is Prism again. For example, first Luka Doncic Prism in Lakers uniform. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Um, Imagine that is not Prism anymore. That is, license terms and goes to Fanatics, and we have tops. Imagine first top Scrum, Gold Refractor, Luka Doncic, Lakers uniform, for example. Sounds good. And also first year of tops after recovering the license and so on. So, bright future for Luka Doncic in terms of trading cards, I think. And Wembanyama, I mean, is also super collected. I think it's maybe a bit less than Luka because of time. It's a matter of time. But the numbers, for example, of Victor Wembanyama rookie cards at PSA, I think it is mind blowing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
crazy thing.
Yeah.
And it's the Prism and the Prism rookies. The first cards of Wembanyama were super hyped when he was a rookie, and then tops. Wembanyama is the face of tops basketball division, and special products are created or are being created still today for him and because of him. So Wembanyama, important player, and I
What
would say,
what
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what's the
Sorry
vibe of I mean in Europe are they because Americans are definitely excited about Wembanyama.
about Wemby.
Yeah, but in Europe
Mm,
are they is it just comparable excitement or
in terms of cards, you mean,
yeah,
or in general
let's say
terms?
cards.
Mm, yeah, I mean, not so hyped, maybe than, of course, than in America, but you can see people that are chasing a good Wembanyama card
Okay.
because he's a great player, and a good rookie card of Wemby maybe is chased, but Victor Wembanyama collectors in Spain, at least, I mean, it's nearly impossible to find because of the price and because of the value of Victor Wembanyama. So because you can have a binder full of base cards of Victor Wembanyama, but you know sooner or later you will realize that binder is you know there's something missing in the binder, and it's the big card.
Yeah.
No, when the big, you can understand me. Like
I
a
yeah.
clean person rookie or a good select, shiny, colorful select rookie, you are going to miss it because now it's pretty pricey when Maniama and high grades, you know,
Yeah.
this is skyrocketing everything. I don't know, but when Banyama unlicensed, even unlicensed product.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy, crazy thing. And I truly think then Giannis and Jokic, as we were talking before, the similar careers. I mean, like similar way to the championship in terms of sports, and in terms of cars, I find it similar also. I mean, of course, Giannis won first, and
In
being the first is important.
in the middle of the pandemic, boom,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and Giannis, but Giannis is not that pricey. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe it's not so hyped, and he's a superstar and a two-time MVP and NBA champion, and of course, his big rookies and his clean autographs and flawless and all that thing is expensive and is chased and it's going to cost a lot of money to any collector who wants something about that. But you can find good cards of Giannis and build, for example, a good binder of Giannis limited cards or beautiful cards without spending a ton. And I think Jokic is similar, or started to be similar, but I truly think now Jokic is higher. I mean,
he
centers in general, centers, sorry, John, but
yeah.
centers are not getting the love of the hobby. And that's a long discussion also, because you can go to even to Shaquille, and
Right.
Shaquille doesn't have the credit. Still, maybe Shaquille Grails, yes, but Shaquille O'Neal doesn't have the love of collecting, or the love of the hobby. And but Shaquille super collectors are happy with this, by the way. But Jokic, I think is similar. No, Giannis and Jokic similar.
I do think
Mhm.
Jokic has a ceiling of some sort in the hobby.
Mhm.
Just you know, the American it just took the American market so long to not even the card market, just the NBA audience to kind of, oh my God, this guy is awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
think we're kind of there, but like even against the Clippers, they're not favored. So
Hmm.
I just there's still room for him to surprise people. Like
Yes.
there's a
Hmm.
stubbornness to his, I don't know. I mean, his greatness. I mean, stats wise, he is the greatest of all time. I know it's a
Yeah.
different era of basketball, but literally
Yeah.
he is. Like it's unarguable, like advanced stats and that kind of stuff. So, um, it's yeah, I mean, and you're right. I mean, Giannis was after the title up here, say Jokic was,
Hmm.
here, and it was, it has been steadily like this, and now Jokic is
Yes.
higher.
I truly think that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But in general terms, both of them are surprisingly less considered in the hobby, let's
yeah,
say. I mean, everyone knows the value of a super big autograph or big rookie of Jokic or Giannis, of course. But we are in an era with a lot of different products and collections, and a lot of different options for each and every player in the NBA. So it's for these two players, I think Jokic and Janic, against other superstars of today's game, I think they are underrated in collecting.
I would agree. Yeah, I think that
Mhm.
I totally agree with that top five. I mean, Luca and Wemby just they've had the hype is just so high,
Incredible. Mhm.
enormous.
Mhm.
And then you also have a riser, potential riser on your list.
Yeah, a potential riser is Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
Uh, in on Instagram, and on social media, and this,
Yep.
when we want to spend our time in the hobby different way, you scroll on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, Facebook. Um, Franz Wagner cards are rising, and it's because, and in my opinion, it's mainly because of one thing we talked about before, that is German people collect German players. Collecting your country hero, Franz Wagner, young guy, superstar, prospect, uh, world champion.
Yeah.
Germany is a
Yeah.
world champion,
True.
world champion. Franz Wagner in Germany is the hype. The face of basketball is Franz Wagner. Even the MVP, world champion, the world championship MVP wasn't even Franz, it was Dennis Ruder. But Franz is the young guy, is the young superstar, is the and he's real. I mean, he's a great player. Even he's playing in Orlando. I mean, he lost against the Celtics in the first round. I think was expected. I mean, everyone expected that because Celtics are in another level. But you know, he is a reality. I mean, Franz Wagner is going to be an all-star.
Definitely.
Is
Yeah.
the next European all-star
He's
for
he,
sure.
he's on my draft list every year for fantasy. I mean,
Hmm.
and he slides under because people, just they're not quite there on it. So yeah, this Euros are my like secret fantasy strategy because people just don't get it. It's fun. Yeah.
But
Um,
and yeah, I truly think France, and in terms of collecting, is is getting his credit.
Yeah.
And of course, in Europe, you know, and especially in Germany, is the new guy. And and there are plenty of sets, for example, dual autographs, Dirk and Franz,
Oh,
and Franz with because he has a brother playing in Orlando, also
yep.
both brothers,
Moritz. Yeah.
Moritz Wagner,
Yeah.
a brother dual autograph, or
Oh,
Franz and Moritz, but those, I think it's immaculate, or this kind of high-end product, Dirk, Franz,
oh.
for example. So it's like it's well executed. I mean, it's well, and Panini is going well with his cards, and including France in every insert set. I mean, like potentially chase it. France is in there,
So
so it's my
probably
rising star.
okay. So yeah, probably unnecessary to be said, but if you're going to Dusseldorf to Card Madness in July,
Hmm.
and you want to sell a Franz card, it's a great place to do it.
It's a great place, probably the best place.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have a Dirk. I'm gonna bring as potential trade
Hmm.
bait. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's my
Very
plan.
cool.
Um, but all right, John. Let's call it. We'll just keep going and going.
Mhm.
Let the listeners be and
Yeah.
watchers go back to enjoying your lives. But thanks for being with us, everybody. And
Mhm.
any parting thoughts, John? I don't want to just turn us off, but yeah,
Oh, it's everything said. It's
cool.
everything. It's all said.
Welcome your comments. I sincerely mean that. I love talking about this subject and just such a pleasure to do so with you, man. So thank you.
You too, John.
All right.
Enjoy.
Talk to you soon. Whoops. Uh,